Hello. Well, today I'm going to discuss the third step in a Hindu marriage, the litigation which is very common amongst the spouses, which is with regard to the guardianship of the child, and therefore it comes under the Hindu Minority and Guardianship Act 1956. That's the Act 32 of 1956. It was enacted on 25th August 1956. So let me start with the act now. An act to amend and codify certain parts of the law relating to minority and guardianship among the Hindus, be it enacted by Parliament in the seventh year of Republic as of India as follows. Now we have the statement of objects and reasons. This is another installment of the Hindu Code and it deals with the law relating to minority and guardianship. Under the Indian Majority Act 1875, a person attains majority on his completing the age of 18 years. But if before the completion of that age he has a guardian appointed by the court, he attains majority on completing the age of 21 years. That act applies to all persons, including Hindus, but an exception is made with respect to the capacity of any person to act in the matter of marriage, dower, divorce, and adoption. Marriage and divorce have already been dealt with so far as Hindus are concerned, and the definition of minor in the bill will ensure that the age of majority is 18 for all practical purposes. Guardians may be divided into three classes, namely. So, there are three classes of guardians. First is natural guardians, second is testamentary guardians, and third is guardians appointed under the Guardianship and Wards Act 1890. So, let me start with the short title and extent. This act may be called the Hindu Minority and Guardianship Act 1956, Section 2, Act to be supplemented to Act 8 of 1890. The provisions of this Act shall be in addition to and not to, save as hereinafter expressly provided, in derogation of the Guardianship and Wards Act 1890. Application of Act Section 3. A. To any person who is a Hindu by religion in any of its forms or developments, including a Virashaiva, a Lingayat, or a follower of Brahmo, Prarthana, or Arya Samaj. B. To any person who is a Buddhist, Jain, or Sikh by religion. C. To any person domiciled in the territories to which this act extends who is not a Muslim, Christian, Parsi, or Jew by religion, unless it is proved that any such person would not have been governed by the Hindu law or by any custom or usage as part of that law in respect of any of the matters dealt with herein if this act had not been passed. Now there is certain explanation to this. The following persons are Hindus, Buddhists, Jains, or Sikhs by religion, as the case may be. Any child, legitimate or illegitimate, both of whose parents are Hindus, Buddhists, Jains, or Sikhs by religion. Second, any child, legitimate or illegitimate, one of whose parents is a Hindu, Buddhist, Jain, or Sikh by religion, and who is brought up as a member of the tribe, community, group, or family to which such parent belongs or belonged. Third, any person who is a convert or reconvert to Hindu, Buddhist, and Jains. Notwithstanding anything contained in subsection 1, nothing contained in this act shall apply to the members of any scheduled tribes within the meaning of clause 25 of article 366 of the constitution unless the central government by notification in the official gazette otherwise directs. Now, the expression Hindu in any provision of this act shall be construed as if it included a person who, though not a Hindu by religion, is nevertheless a person to whom this act applies by virtue of the provisions contained in this section. Now, section 4 is about definitions. A defines minor. Minor means a person who has not completed the age of 18 years. B. Guardian. Guardian means a person having the care of the person of a minor or of his property or of both his person and property and includes 1. Natural guardian. Second, a guardian appointed by the will of the minor's father or mother. Third, a guardian appointed or declared by a court. Fourth, A person empowered to act as such by or under any enactment relating to any court of wards. C. Natural guardian means any of the guardians mentioned in section 6. Section 5, there is an overriding law. Now coming to section 6, natural guardians of a Hindu minor. This is the most important, one of the most important sections of this bare act, which says the natural guardians of a Hindu minor in respect of the minor's person as well as in respect of a minor's property bracket excluding his or her undivided interest in joint family property are: A. In the case of a boy or an unmarried girl, the father, and after him the mother, provided that the custody of a minor who has not completed the age of 5 years shall ordinarily be with the mother. B. In the case of an illegitimate boy or an illegitimate unmarried girl, the mother, and after her the father. C. In the case of a married girl, the husband, provided that no person shall be entitled to act as the natural guardian of a minor under the provisions of this section. A. If he has ceased to be a Hindu. B. If he has completely and finally renounced the world, becoming a hermit, that is vanprasth, or an ascetic, that is yati or a sannyasi. Now coming to section 7, that's natural guardianship of adopted son. The natural guardianship of an adopted son who is a minor passes on adoption to the adopted father and after him to the adoptive mother. Section 8, powers of natural guardian. Now this is also one of the most important sections of this bare act. The natural guardian of a Hindu minor has power, subject to provisions of this section, to do all acts which are necessary or reasonable and proper for the benefit of the minor or for the realization, protection, or benefit of the minor's estate, but the guardian can in no case bind the minor by a personal covenant. Second, the natural guardian shall not, without the previous permission of the court, A. Mortgage or charge or transfer by sale, gift, exchange, or otherwise any part of the immovable property of the minor, or B. Lease any part of such property for a term exceeding 5 years or for a term exceeding more than 1 year beyond the date on which the minor will attain majority. Third, any disposal of the immovable property by a natural guardian in contravention of subsection 1 or subsection 2 is voidable at the instance of the minor or any person claiming under him. Fourth, no court shall grant permission to the natural guardian to do any of the acts mentioned in subsection 2 except in case of necessity or for an evident advantage to the minor. Now, fifth, the Guardians and Wards Act 1890 shall apply to and in respect of an application for obtaining the permission of the court under subsection 2 in all respects as if it were an application for obtaining the permission of the court under section 29 of that act, and in particular, A. Proceedings in connection with the application shall be deemed to be proceedings under that act within the meaning of section 4A thereof. The court shall observe the procedure and have the power specified in subsection 2, 3, and 4 of section 31 of that act. C. An appeal shall lie from an order of the court refusing permission to the natural guardian to do any of the acts mentioned in subsection 2 of this section to the court to which appeals ordinarily rely from the decision of that court. 6. In this section, court means the city civil court or a district court or a court empowered under section 4A of the Guardians and Wards Act 1890 within the local limits of whose jurisdiction the immovable property in respect of which the application is made is situate, and where the immovable property is situate within the jurisdiction of more than one such court means the court within the local limits of whose jurisdiction any portion of the property is situate. Now coming to section 9, testamentary guardians and their powers. A Hindu father entitled to act as the natural guardian of his minor legitimate children may, by will, appoint a guardian for any of them in respect of the minor's person or in respect of minor's property bracket other than the undivided interest referred to in subsection 12 or in respect of both. Second, an appointment made under subsection 1 shall have no effect if the father predeceases the mother, but shall revive if the mother dies, without appointing by will any person as a guardian. Third, a Hindu widow entitled to act as the natural guardian of her minor legitimate children, and a Hindu mother entitled to act as the natural guardian of her minor legitimate children by reason of the fact that the father has become disentitled to act as such, may by will appoint a guardian for any of them in respect to the minor's person or in respect of the minor's property bracket other than the undivided interest referred to in section 12 or in respect of both. Fourth, a Hindu mother entitled to act as the natural guardian of her minor illegitimate children may, by will, appoint a guardian or for any of them in respect of the minor's person or in respect of the minor's property or in respect of both. Fifth, the guardian so appointed by will has the right to act as the minor's guardian after the death of the minor's father or mother, as the case may be, and to exercise all the rights of natural guardian under this act to such extent and subject to such restrictions, if any, as are specified in this act in the will. Sixth, the right of the guardian so appointed by the will shall, where the minor is a girl, cease on her marriage. As we have already seen, that husband will be the natural guardian of the wife in section 6. Yes. Says 6, that's 6 subclause C. Now coming to section 10, incapacity of a minor to act as a guardian of property. A minor shall be incompetent to act as a guardian of the property of any minor. Now section 11, de facto guardian not to deal with minor's property. After the commencement of this act, no person shall be entitled to dispose of or deal with the property of a Hindu minor merely on the ground of his or her being the de facto guardian of the minor. Now section 12, guardian not to be appointed for minor's undivided interest in joint family property. Where a minor has an undivided interest in joint family property and the property is under the management of an adult member of the family, no guardian shall be appointed for the minor in respect of such undivided interest, provided that nothing is in this section shall be deemed to affect the jurisdiction of High Court to appoint a guardian in respect of such interest. Now the last section of this act, section 13, welfare of minor to be paramount consideration. In the appointment or declaration of any person as guardian of a Hindu minor by a court, the welfare of the minor shall be the paramount consideration. Second and last, no person shall be entitled to the guardianship by virtue of the provisions of this act or any law relating to guardianship in marriage among Hindus if the court is of opinion that his or her guardianship will not be for the welfare of the minor. So that's the Hindu Minority and Guardianship Act 1956. I hope things are amply clear to you, and that's all for the day. Have a very, very good day. Stay home, stay safe. Thank you. Goodbye.